Here we go. This was the trip of a lifetime, a bucket list trip, if you will. Chuuk Lagoon in the middle of Micronesia, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Hundreds of ships sunk during Operation Hailstorm, and we were about to dive them. The excitement, man, the excitement is palpable. We're flying in, and we are just itching to get in the water. The dive shop was pretty small, but the boats were pretty decent. 6 to a boat, and we were getting ready. And here's the crew. John.
All on the boat, ready to roll.
Brian on the left, Ben on the right. Mark. And there's Matt, my roommate, along with Chungi, the world's best guide.
A lot of B-roll.
First stop was a checkout here on the Betty Bomber. It's only about 60 feet deep, but it is a very interesting dive, and as you can see, it took us a little getting used to this clear, warm water with lots of visibility. This was a bit of a tight squeeze, but I managed to get through. So while it was a great checkout dive, about 5 minutes after this, I ended up getting a caustic cocktail, a little bit of stuff in my loop that I had to clean out before the next dive. That's going to be important later. Dive 2 on the Fujikawa. This one was a very good dive. It was our first real deep penetration into a wreck. shipwrecks were pretty dark. This is about what it was like flying through there. Nothing to see but the light ahead of you, and you were always looking to make sure you could find a way out. This one's a little shaky, but it was a very deep drop into the hold of the Fujikawa, where we got to see all kinds of crazy stuff. I have to say, one of the things that did take a little getting used to was the fact that all of these things are man-made. We are actually allowed to touch them because they aren't natural. And coming from diving in Monterey, that took a few minutes. But John got to play. Third dive in a high end the next day was amazing. This one was the deepest one we had done yet, and as you'll see in a minute, probably the creepiest. And here's why. Our first skull. This reminds you that these aren't just ships, that these took the lives of actual human beings. Of course, what's a dive to a shipwreck if you don't decide to go down and touch the screw at the back, right in the sand? This one was a great dive. I couldn't believe it. Loved every second of it. Until... oh shit is right. As I got out of the water, I started to feel funny in my neck and my head. And then I started to lose my balance. When we got to shore, I could hardly stand. Ended up having severe dizziness. My boys jumped into action fast. They called Dan immediately. Dan had an ambulance at the dive shop within 15 minutes, and I was at the ER within another 15. Luckily, we had some Navy doctors there from the USN Mercy, and they were treating me well. I had chest x-rays. I had heart monitoring. I had everything you could imagine. The issue was they couldn't figure out exactly what was going on. They did a series of neurological tests, and I passed them all. They were concerned about my eyes, they were concerned about my heart, but nothing showed up. The solution is always, of course, to go to the chamber, and Dan sent me to the chamber on Chuuk. I spent a total of 7 hours in this chamber. 5 the first night, as you see me getting loaded here, and 2 the next day. And after those treatments, I had no vertigo at all. And this was on a Wednesday. As you can see, here's some of the Navy folks, as well as Dr. Lorenzo helping me out, and Felix running the chamber. This happened on a Wednesday, and by Friday at noon, I was completely fine. So while we watch Felix, you're going to ask yourself, what exactly happened? To the best of our knowledge, it appears that my lungs were irritated because of the caustic cocktail when I dove the Betty Bomber. I didn't do a very good job of cleaning it out, and Dr. Lorenzo believes that that caused an air bubble around my alveoli, and that when I surfaced after that final dive on the high end, after I'd done all my decompression properly and matched everything, that it sent an air bubble into my inner ear, and that's what caused my dizziness and my inability to stand. And of course, when you have something like that, the only solution is to get in this chamber. And let me tell you, you do not want to be in this chamber. It is hot and uncomfortable, and it is difficult to breathe. But it saved my ass. I also hope it's comforting to know that if you are on an island like Chuuk in the middle of the Federated States of Micronesia, that you will have amazing service if you ever need to get into this chamber. It's small, but it works.
You okay? More coughing.
I have to say, I can't thank the doctors from the Mercy and Dr. Lorenzo enough. They were amazing, and I got great service. I also can't thank Dan enough. Dan was on the spot and did a good job. If you'd like to pause here, you can have a look at the dive. Absolutely nothing wrong. But you know what that means. Beautiful Chuuk and the Blue Lagoon Resort, I'm going to have to come back and do this all again.